Hi guys, it's Jasmin from Boss Brains, and today we're going to walk through an article titled In-Store Mobile Phone Use and Customer Shopping Behavior, Evidence from the Field. Now this was published in the Journal of Marketing, and although it has a really long title, I have my trusty whiteboard behind me. I've written everything out and we're going to walk through it together. Okay, so the study looked at 4 different hypotheses. The first 3 basically are that mobile phone use in store increases customers' total time spent in store, shelf attention, and loop diversion, which all leads to an increase in purchase. Total time spent in store refers to when they enter the store to the time that they get to the checkout line. Shelf attention is when they fixate on different points of a shelf display or in different areas of the store. And then loop diversion is pretty much when you think like, okay, I'll go to like produce, I'll go get snacks, I'll get dairy, and then I'll get out of here. And what ends up happening when your mobile phone usage goes up is you kind of go here, oh, I forgot to get this, and you just kind of go all over the place. And the fourth hypothesis is that total time spent, shelf attention, and loop diversion mediate the relationship between mobile use and purchases. Now, the other cool aspect of the study is that they also established boundary conditions. They wanted to see how aspects like age, how your phone is being used, and where your phone is being used play into the study. The other thing they wanted to measure, they also wanted to measure whether mobile use decreases shopping satisfaction. So all these 4 boundaries, these 4 hypotheses were all examined in this study. And again, I wrote everything down so it's not going to be overwhelming. Okay, so let's take a look at methodology. Now, there were 2 separate kind of sub-studies in this one big experiment, but overall, all studies used portable eye tracking technology. They were conducted from Monday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so they definitely missed the rush of the evening. Survey questions were collected on satisfaction. Researchers looked at receipts of participants, and they also were done in grocery stores in Sweden. Now let's look at a breakdown of study 1 versus study 2. Now, I'll just keep this up here, but basically N, for those who don't know, represents the number of participants in each study. But the main differences between these 2 is that study 1 was definitely more observational, so participants weren't given a really detailed prompt. It was kind of like go about as you are. And study 2, they were randomly assigned to groups, so they were definitely told to either use their mobile phones throughout the trip or to put them away for the duration of the shopping trip. Now, what study 2 does is that it was able to replicate the results, and it was able to remove self-selection bias. So it was a really good opportunity, again, just to kind of show that their results were able to be replicated, and we'll actually talk about what those results are. Okay, so now it's time to look at the results. Now, both study 1 and study 2 supported all 4 hypotheses. And so again, just as a refresher, mobile phone use increased customers' total time spent in stores, their shelf attention. Mobile phone use leads to a distraction, which leads to the behavioral responses that are up here, and that leads to the increase in purchase. So let's talk about some reasons as to why does this happen. Now, one of the postulated theories is the attention capacity theory, which over here basically states when distracted, your attention to focal tasks will decrease. Literature shows that the distraction itself will limit the amount of information you can retrieve to make a decision. So the more distracted you are, you're not really going to be able to process what's going on around you. You're not going to get the whole amount of information you need to make an informed decision. Now, the other aspect that they dive into is working memory. Now, this is your cognitive ability to store, process, and manipulate information. Now, these things process language, visual and spatial issues, and solve problems, all simultaneously. Now, what they mention in the paper is that if several tasks take up the same component of working memory, it won't work. So, for example, if we focus on visual and spatial issues, if you're trying to navigate through a store and use your Instagram, you're not going to be able to do both of them at the same time because both of these demand your visual and your spatial issues to be processed. So I mentioned boundary conditions earlier, so we're going to kind of break down the 4 that were examined. First was age. So the age effect was definitely seen. Once you're over the age of 32, you are more susceptible to the effects of your mobile phone use. And that has to do, or they postulate that has to do with working memory because it's susceptible to the aging process. Now, the other boundary condition was how you use your phone. So kind of shopping versus non-shopping behavior. So shopping behavior has to do with whether you're looking up a price or like coupons, and non-shopping related behavior has to do with emails, talking, texting with your friends. So they found that non-shopping related tasks increase the effects, and these were significant. Third boundary was the location of phone use. So they basically broke up people's trajectories into different departments, and they found that there was actually an increase in purchase of fruits and vegetables, and there was no benefit in the checkout area. So to be honest, if you're trying to be healthier, you might want to consider using your phone. And finally, the fourth was shopping satisfaction. Now, there's a little bit of some contradicting results. So in study 1, they found no effect to your overall shopping satisfaction, whether you used your phone a lot or not. But in study 2, there was a marginally lower overall satisfaction, but not necessarily in service. So what that means is that you feel less satisfied overall, maybe because you didn't meet your goals, you didn't pick up what you needed to pick up, but you don't blame the grocery store service for this lack of satisfaction. So what is a study without limitations? Now, there needs to be a more comprehensive profile of customers. So for example, whether they're a part of a loyalty membership, there's a lack of access to previous shopping behavior. Some of the coding was done manually, therefore there's an increased risk of human error, and there needs to be a more inclusion of different retailers, so fashion outlets, tech stores. So how do these results apply in the real world, and how will this affect you? Well, retailers might try to bring in some complimentary Wi-Fi, and you might be susceptible to increasing your purchases, which I list down there. So my suggestion to you guys would be to limit your mobile phone use as much as possible while you're grocery shopping, or honestly just doing any shopping in general. Obviously easier said than done, but you can see from these effects that it's just better to just get in, get out, get the stuff you need. Don't fall prey to that kind of a distraction. So I have to give credit for this study. So definitely to these researchers down here. I mean, this was pretty cool for me. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys later. Bye.